Welcome to the NoobTube YouTube channel for day 283. This was the 9th of June, 2023, a Friday. So I did exercise, Remote Wellness Academy, books, insurance. That's pretty much about it. So thoughts for the day. So I'm thinking about the time going back, telling you about different highlights of my life, and I would start with my childhood, and without getting too personal, um, my parents got divorced when I was a kid, and I had some pretty challenging times. Now, other people have had a lot more hellacious experiences, but my experiences were pretty tough. And I had went to many different schools, and after for different reasons, and after I had moved several times, like during the time that I was in high school, I had dropped out of high school, and it was I did go back and complete high school after I joined the military, but all that time during that time, I grew up in South Jersey. Grew up in a middle class. My mother was a single parent, taking care of me and my brother. I'm estranged from my father, so um, my mother was always trying to, you know, better herself. She was a school teacher, and then she was an organist and choir director, and she gave lessons, and she did other things to make money. Um, so she was always busy, and she did the best that she could. So I know that she had been involved with like network marketing companies. That's where I first you know discovered that network marketing. It was involved with Amway. It was involved with A.L. Williams, which is now Prime America. And she had modest success in these endeavors. And anytime, a lot of times people join these programs and they don't get anybody in at all. And my mother had modest success, but now that I have been through many of these myself, many of these different companies, first of all, there's a lot of people who quit before they even get started. They've already declared themselves defective and they can't do it, or they don't have the skills, or this or that. So they're already out of the game. There's no sense in trying to be persuasive to somebody who is not open to the idea of being successful. At any given time, 3% of the population is open to something like that, whereas 97% of the people are not. But 3% is a huge number of people. And if you're talking about America, you're talking about, several million people that are open to the idea of being involved in a business. And then those are the people that you want to align yourself with. So, I have there are lead generation companies that are low cost, and then you can put yourself in front of these particular people who are interested, and then these are the people that you need to spend time with. If they're not interested, you need to let them go quickly and as quickly, as expeditiously as possible, and not spend too much time working with them, because they're going to drain you. And then that's just the first step. So the second step is people, once they get involved, they've got to take action. They've got to be just as motivated, if not more, than you are. And then when the tough times come and the adversity comes, they can't quit. You got to see it through. You've got to, you say, look, you have to redefine what a win is. And a lot of times people say, hey, the idea is to make money. And that's the ultimate goal, is financial independence and being successful. But the first win is picking up the phone and speaking to somebody that you've never talked to before and talking to them about this business. And regardless of what happens, regardless of that person, whether you encounter somebody who is negative or regardless of what happens, you have won because you have taken action. That's how you need to tell your brain, like, hey, I didn't lose. It's not that they didn't sign up. It's that they weren't interested, but you won because you know that it really truly is a numbers game. If you go out and you go out and you talk to so many people, if you're talking to people who are interested, then a certain percentage of people um, are open to the idea of signing up, and then a certain percentage of those people are going to sign up, and then a certain smaller percentage of people are going to do something with it, and then you go off from there. So I have a coach that I coach with, Jeffrey Combs, every week, and Jeffrey Combs says to me, hey, you could work full time, you could put in a full time effort, and maybe if you're working every single day, if you were to work full time, this is just like, maybe I wouldn't even say this is a worst case scenario. I would just say this is a good case. Like if you gave it a full time and you gave it, you work full time. I mean, like you actually put in 40 hours worth of work, and then you're talking to people every day. You're talking to multiple people every single day, and you're getting rejected a whole bunch of times, but they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the opportunity, and really they're rejecting themselves. But after a couple of months, you'll get somebody. You might get that quality person. So it might take you, if you do this full time, it might be 3 or 4 months before you get your first real qualified person in your business. Somebody who's got the same type of work ethic as you do and is willing to put in that time. And if you're doing it on a part-time basis, well, then you're looking at, instead of 3 or 4 months, you're looking at, 6 months, every 6 months or so, every half a year, finding that quality person on a part-time basis. And, within a 36-month period, you could have, 6 or 7 people. And that's, if everybody's doing the same thing, then you're off to the races. Then you can really just, you can see that the vision is going to happen, right? So that's what that's what I'm trying to impart, is that, that's the kind of work ethic that it takes. It takes that level of dedication, and it really can happen. It's like, well, why do these other people? What's so special about these other people? Because I'll tell you, now I've been involved with network marketing and business, and some people, you look at them, it's like, I'm listening to some of these people, and they don't sound good. They don't sound good, and it's like, well, I know, I'm better than this person, but no, I mean, you're not. No, I'm not, because that other person's willing to pay the price. It's like one of the opportunities that I was in. The guy was horrible. The guy was just awful, and he, my coach was like, "Hey, he's closing sales. Might sound horrible, when he talks, he goes, yeah, and he's half attentive and he's got ADHD and all that. That's what he says about himself. But he closes sales, and that's all that matters. It's like, just, are you willing to get on the phones? Are you willing to put some ads out there? And are you willing to be outside of your comfort zone? And if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to do that on a consistent basis, then you can be successful. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like creating content, and I'm putting myself out there. I don't like the direct sales as much, but I like marketing, and I like, talking to people who want to be contacted, and I want to get out of that conversation very, very quickly. If it's not a good match, if it's not a good fit, there's no point in me like pestering somebody. That's not what I'm about, and I'm sure that's not what you're about. So, but the numbers are there. It's like there's more than enough people that, if you like an opportunity, if you presented an opportunity and you find that opportunity value, you're not so unique in the universe. Somebody else is going to see that same potential in that business, and they're going to work it. And I'll end like with this. There's this opportunity out there called it's a domain company, and it's been in existence for many years. And I tell you, it's not a very a sexy or attractive business. It's a business that it's been around forever, and there's not a whole bunch of money to be made with it. I mean, it's just like one of those things. It's just there, and it's like you can get a check, if you just refer other people, and it's not get rich quick or anything like that. But this guy that I know that emails me like every other day, um, he gets a 5-figure monthly check from this opportunity, and it took him years to do it, to build that up. But he's got that routine. He's got that successful routine where he's doing it every single day. It's a part of his routine. And he's built up a mailing list, and then all he's got to do is hit the send button and send his mailing list a whole bunch of content that they want. And these are people who want to hear from him, and he's successful. And he's like, it doesn't happen overnight, but he talks about it occasionally in his emails. It's like, hey, he's makes 6 figures on this little, small little program. And that's just one of his income streams. Because you have multiple streams of income equals an income river. And that's what you want, and that's what you need, is to have an income river. So anyway, those are my thoughts for day 283. I'm grateful for the man who told me that. I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had, the positive and the negative, because that's what life is all about. It's experiencing and going through this journey and getting better, and redefining. Like, maybe you didn't fail. It's like you learned, instead of classifying something as a failure, you just learned how not to do something. It took Thomas Edison 1,000 attempts to make the light bulb, over 1,000. And he's like, I didn't fail. I learned how not to do it. And it's that tenacity. It's like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep going. And it doesn't matter, people's negativity, or I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm not going to let that keep me from being successful, because people are depending on me. My family's depending upon me, and it's going to happen. So that's it for day 283. Let me know your comments and thoughts, and I will talk to you tomorrow.